Hello, good morning everyone and welcome to our lesson for this morning. Our lesson will be about communicative styles or in other words, we call this one language registers. So good morning again my grade 9 students and this will be our lesson for today. This will be a very short lesson but this is very important for you to know your performance task. For you to perform your performance task, you have to know this one. Okay, so unsa na ining mga language registers here. Before we go there, let us first go to our lesson outline. Unsa man atong ma-learn? What are we going to learn today? First, we will be talking about public versus private voice. Lah, sir, unsa man na? What is that? Don't worry, we will talk about that one. Okay? And then the kinds of registers, the kinds of language register. So we have the frozen and static register. We have the formal register. We have the consultative register. We have the casual register. And we have the intimate register. Okay? So before we go to these types of register and these voices, unsa da ining language register? What is language register? Okay? Language register is adapting to one's language to conform to the standards of a given situation. Again, from the word, our keyword here is adapting. We have to adapt to kinsa atong kastorya, to whom we are talking to. Let's say for example, you're a lawyer. Okay? You're a lawyer and then you're talking to a kanang maninda og isda sa merkado. Nipalit kag isda. So you talk to the vendor. And then imo siyang gitagaan og mga highfalutin words, mga technical words sa lawyer. And then ang imong kastorya kay vendor sa isda, mamaligya og isda. Do you think that's appropriate? Or let's say for example, estudyante. For example, you're students and then you want to talk to your teacher mo ka. What's up, chair? How are you, chair? Is that appropriate? Sakto ba na? Di ba dili? So there are different levels of appropriateness in a conversation. And that is what we will be talking about today, the language register. What kind of register will you have your conversation in? Okay? Now, these registers can be classified into two. As what I've said earlier, we have the private and the public voice. But let's go first to public voice. Unsa dining public voice? Now, the public voice is the one you use when you are in school, in church, at work, or when you talk to strangers. Basically, talking to other people. Okay? Talking to other people siya. Except for sa katong ato he's got later on sa private voice. Okay? So it can be registered it can be classified into the frozen or the static register. That's the first register we will be talking about. And next we have the formal register, and then we have the consultative register. So tulo ni sila ka register under this voice. Again, this is the public voice. Now, if there is public, naapoy private voice. And what does the private voice do? The private voice is the one you use with your close friends, kanang mga suod nimo, your family, or your loved ones. Okay? And these can be classified into casual register and into the intimate register. Okay? So, let's go to the different kinds of language registers. Our first kind of language register is the frozen or the static register. Okay? This register involves the use of language that rarely changes. Kani siya kay naa say mga words nga dili gyud mausab. The content is basically frozen in time. Dili siya nothing could ever change that one. Mo mura kanta. Nothing's gonna change my love for you. Oh, but this kind of kanang speaking or a conversation does not change. So unsa may examples? Any examples of here are kanang mga Bible passages, mga prayers, pledges of allegiance to the flag, to organization or to whatever. Then naapagay kanang anthems, national and international laws, iyon ani ni sila. Okay? Kanang mga dili mausab baka naa na gyud si specified nga word. Dili na gyud siya mausab. Okay? An example of this one is our kanang panunumpa sa katapatan ng watawat ng Pilipinas or our pledge to the flag. 'Di ba? Panunumpa ng katapatan sa watawat ng Pilipinas. Ako ay Pilipino, buong katapatang nununumpa sa watawat ng Pilipinas sa bansang kanyang isinasag-isag na may dangal, katarungan at kalayaan na ipinakikilos ng sabi ng makadiyos, makakalikasan, makatao at makabansa. did you notice nga ang kana siya nga phrase, did it change? Nausab siya through time? Di ba wala? Ay naman to ikatong classic nga panatang makabayan, iniibig ko ang Pilipinas, but even na kato, nausab siya, wala, di ba? There's no changes. So that's why it's important for us to recognize na ang kaning frozen and static register, it does not change. Dili siya mausab. Okay? Now, when using this frozen register, remember that you are uttering passages that have been honored through time by men. Oh, and women who have lived long before you were born. So remember me, kaning na mga words sa atong gipang storya, kaning frozen and static register, they've been honored already through time. Time and time, mas tiguang pa ninyo, mas tiguang pa ninako. Therefore, we have to give the same respect, even though kanang old na iyang language, or kabalo na taon sa sunod. For example, magkwanta kanang sa preamble, mamemorya sa preamble. Imploring the aid of the Almighty God in order to live a just and humane society. You can predict it. But even though if you can predict it, you still have to respect it. You have to use your heart and express it with all your feelings and in a reverent manner, in a very respectful manner. Now, unsaon na to paghatag og respect when it comes to frozen or static register? How are we going to conduct ourselves when we speak frozen or static register? Okay? So here are some tips for you in order when you conduct in a frozen or static register. First of all, you need to be serious when you deliver the lines or passages. Dili magbinuang. Dapat serious gid ang naong. Bring your serious face on. Ana na siya. Next, say them from the heart and not only from memory. So, kung sa ato apa ni kay with feelings. Panatang makabayan, iniibig ko ang panatang makabayan, iniibig ko ang aking lupang sinilangan. So you have to say that one what do you call this, from the heart. Okay? From the heart. Bantay ha, inig-kuha na to, inig-flag ceremony na to. Next week, basin na pa may yung panata. Anong panunumpa sa katapatan ng watawat na Pilipinas. Ako ay Pilipino. Dili ha, you have to say it from the heart. And not only from memory. Okay? Next, do not play with the words or even change them. As what I've told you, do not play with, dili na to binuangan ang kanisiyang mga frozen or static register. Okay? And next, say them only in the right place and at the right time. So, dili na to siya gamiton sa kanang mga walay hinungdan. Okay? So that's what we call our frozen and static register. Now we go to our next register, which is what we call the formal register. And the formal register is a standard one-way communication at work and in school. Again, one-way communication. So, parehan ni karon, this is a one-way communication right now. I am teaching you online, and then you are there listening. But then, I cannot hear from you right now. Because I am recording this lesson, di ko makadungog sa inyong feedback. So, this is a one-way communication. Dili ko makabalo sa inyong gipang storya while I am recording right now. Okay? So, inana pa ng formal register. Formal register is only one way. Padungra, for example, kamo ang audience, so padungra po ninyo ang communication. The communication does not go back to me. Okay? And it uses a more appropriate form of language to show respect. Dapat respectful mo in this kind of language. Okay? And it typically is used in research paper, announcements, formal essays, reports, speeches, interviews, presentations, kana yung mga excuse letter. So, mao na sa mga formal register. Okay? Now, the next register that we will be talking about is consultative register. Now, ang katong formal register is one way, di ba? That's one-way communication. The consultative register is now two-way. It's a two-way conversation, and it is and from the word conversation, ang kanisiyang consultative register will only be applied in a conversation. Kung makigstorya, kung naan ako'y kastorya, and then ang kanako ka-istorya, maka-respond siya, maka-feedback siya, balik nako. Now, that's consultative register. Okay? Two-way communication in a professional setting. So, dapat professional setting. So, what's a professional setting? Let's say, for example, from a doctor to a patient. That's consultative register. It's a two-way communication done in a professional setting. A lawyer and a client. Oh, a teacher and a student. An employer or an employee. A superior or and a subordinate. It is also a type of communication when talking to a stranger. Okay? So, mo ni siya atong mga kwan. Okay, of course, dili man ta kaila sa stranger. So we kinda what they call this? Kanang mao gyapon siya, mura gyapon siya, respectful gyapon siya, but then so then it's a kwan. It's a what they call this? Respectful gyapon siya, but then kwan siya. Ano, wala na ko. Okay, awit sa consultative register is still respectful. But then it's not anymore one way, but it's a two-way communication already. Okay? Now let's go to a few examples of our consultative register. Okay? So here are a few examples of our consultative register. So we have here, could you possibly deliver these targets next month? So murag formal gyapon siya, but then you're expecting a response from someone. So that is what we call a consultative register. Kay, you're expecting a response from someone else. Or we have an encouragement. You are always welcome to join our cause. And then, kani atong mga examples, or these are just examples that of kanang consultative register during specific kanang situations. Let's say for example, a complaint or parting kanang makibuwag. Dili buwag nga uyab-uyab ha, but buwag na kanang goodbye ba? Goodbye. And then suggestion and then interruption. Okay? Now, how do you conduct yourself in formal and in consultative registers? Diba kaning duha, these are all public voices. Diba? So kani pa yung duha kanang formal pagid kaayo pagkastorya. Matunsaon man nato pag how do we do this one? How do we become formal? Number one, always use formal words, okay? No slang. Dapat walay slang. No, homie, hi homie, yo, what's up? What's up, my man? Goods. Oh, ana siya, ha? Those are kanang kwan. Those are kanang, what they call this, slang. So, if you're going to have consultative register, let's say, for example, you're going to talk to me, your advisor. So, dili mo mugamit ang mga slang na mga words, okay? Next, always provide background knowledge to make sure that you and your listener are talking about the same thing. Again, this is kind of kwan. Kanang mura o kanang you provide background information para makabalo kung unsa inyo pasabot. Kailain mo kay mo ana mo nga sir kanang about sa assignment sir ba. Mo chat mo na ako or mo you will talk to me. Sir, about sa assignment sir ba unsaon day ni? Na ako kay wait sa kamrad. Daghan kay kog section nga gihandle unsa ka nga grade level? Unsa ka na section? Unsa ang assignment akong gipabuhat sa inyo ha? Di ba? I don't know, so that's why I have to know it. Therefore, you have to give background information. And lastly, do not use kanang feedback feelers like, I see. Oh. So, kani sila mga background filler, kanang feedback feelers, kanang para naalam mo yung storya. So, you have to avoid that one during formal and consultative registers. Okay? Now, let's go to the public voice already. Manaman ta sa private, katong tulo, frozen static, formal, o consultative registers. Now, let's go to the private voice. Now, the first private voice that you will be talking about is the casual register. It is a type of communication between friends, peers, or family members. So, kani, mura na mo comfortable. Because casual communication does not care about your formality, but it cares about how you express your words and how you give your information to the person na imong giingnan. Okay? So, mao na to ang casual register. Casual register, dili na ni siya formal. Okay? Now, here are some examples of kanang casual register during specific conversation. So, if makita ninyo, i-compare niyo siya sa ato ang previous na examples about a consultative register. These are less formal. Less formal than the previous example that we have. Like, let's say, for example, here, request, bring that book to me tomorrow, alright? Diba? Alright is a slang. Okay, so you may use now slang. You can be less formal if mag-casual register na ta. Okay? Let's say for example, nice game, man! Keep it up! Oh. So kana siya, it's a casual register kaya you're talking to a friend baro nakailan nimo. let's say for example, shut up. Oh. Shut up. Imagine your teacher ingnan ninyo shut up. You use this casual register talk to your teacher. Ibalain, laki. Nagi makuha, nagi ma-POD ani, nagi ma-discipline ani. Humuingan na mo sa yung teacher because that's not how you should address your teacher. But if friend ra ninyo, and you're talking and then imong friend kay kanang iya na isulti imong crush, so you suddenly say, "Shut up." Okay, so kana. That's already casual register kay imo naman ang friend. That's your friend already. You know that person as a friend. Therefore, you can say that one. You can use casual register. Okay? Now, these are the things that you have to keep in mind when you do your casual register. Number one, lahi-lahi ta og casual register. We belong to different groups in different cities, in different provinces. So, naa sila mga ilang mga lahi-lahi na mga casual communication. Therefore, magbantay ta. They have different vocabulary, grammar, intonation, and usage. Sabi na ka ng mga Ilonggo. Ilonggo is very soft, di ba? Ay, patyon bagit kita. Ay, gakuha ko na kutsilyo. Ay, pagkadunggabo na kita. They're soft. Well, kita mga Bisaya, uy, bay, musta man, bay? Hard and rugged. But, Ilonggos are soft. That's how they do their casual That's how they do their casual register. Okay? So, we have to take note of that. Kay dili man ta, we do not lahi-lahi man tag languages here especially here in the Philippines. How much more outside our country. So, we have to take note nga lahi-lahi gud ta og register. Next, casual register should never be used in never be used in formal or consultative communication situations. So you cannot say shut up to your teacher. Okay? So muna siya. Next, lastly, we go to intimate register. The intimate register is, let's go first to our kanang casual. Ang casual is your friends, the people close to you. But this one, intimate register, inyo ra gini isulti sa inyohang mga, let's say for example, husband, sa inyong wife, or let's say for example, sa inyong girlfriend, sa inyong boyfriend, or pwede na po sa inyong dog. Let's say for example, Sir Kevin has a girlfriend. Let's say for example, Sir Kevin has a girlfriend, and Sir Kevin calls her girlfriend Langga. So, I will tell her like, Langga, how are you? How's your day? How's your day, Langga? Are you fine, Langga? But in the classroom, I'm not gonna call you Langga. Like, hi Langga, how are you? Musta naman ka sa imong homework, Langga? Huh? Like, ang kanang Langga nga word is, it's specific for us. Sa amo ang manag-uyab. But then, dili man ta manag-uyab na inyo children. I don't have 16 kabuhok na uyab in the classroom. Therefore, I'm not gonna use our, intimate register na Langga to you. I'm only going to use it when I'm talking to my girlfriend. Okay? So, ana na siya. Let's say, for example, sa inyong dog. Let's say, how man do you how do you call your dog? Let's say, for example, Brownie, hi Brownie, how are you, Brownie? And kutu 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 kutu. The weird sounds that you that you do when you pet your dog. You cannot do that one with your friend. Hi friend, kutu 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 kutu, kuchu kuchu kuchu. You are so sweet, friend. Kuchu kuchu. You don't do that one. That's weird, diba? So you do not use that register to your friends. You only use that register to the people close to you, shared by intimate people, and it's it is kanang characterized by different intonation. Let's say for example kanang katong sa iro like gucci 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 gucci. You don't speak like that high to your friends like, hi Mega. You don't say that one, but when you go to your dog, hi gucci 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 gucci. How's the good dog now? You talk like that. Di ba laki inyong pagstorya? Or bisag unsa pa ninyong pet karon? And it's a very private vocabulary. Mo tong giingon about the Langga. It's a very private vocabulary. So ang katong word kana nga word amo ara gyud na siya. Okay? And these are the examples. I told you examples already, but here's another set of examples for the intimate register. So imagine kuno be mayon ka nga enough of your crap. Oh, you say that one, enough of your crap, but in front of your friends. Sakit siya. Samo tag isulti mo sa yung teacher kay awa hagbong yun ka. Iinon mo yung teacher nga enough of your crap, di ba? So that's why ang kanina mga conversation, this intimate register, you do not use that one with other people nga dili close nimo. Okay? So basically that's all our lesson. Again, we talked about the public versus the private voice, and then we talked about the 5 kinds of register. We have the frozen or static, we have the formal register, we have the consultative register, the casual register, and the intimate register. Okay? So if you have questions, please prepare them in our question time. We have a question time in our we have a question time tomorrow, Tuesday. So please ask your questions, okay? This will be very quick lang yun na question time. 30 minutes. I'll just explain everything. And then if you have any questions, throw them in. And also, don't forget to fill the exit ticket, okay? Ayaw niyo kalimtang exit ticket because that is where I will be sending your exercise. Okay? Dira na ko ihatag ang inyong exercise. So please make sure you fill it up para once you fill it up, tagaan ta mo og link sa exercise the next day. Okay? So thank you everyone for listening. I hope you will have a great day. Goodbye.